Guten Tag, Ede. Was that correct? Yes. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our today's keynote, which couldn't be more relevant than today. The AI elections, how technology could shape public sentiment. So, before we start with our keynote, we want to introduce ourselves really quickly.
My name is Thomas Endres. I studied computer sciences, and after that I joined TNG. I'm one of the managing partners right now. And with me I have Martin.
Yeah, Martin Förtsch is my name. I've studied computer sciences as well. And yeah, with us is Jonas Meyer.
Yeah, so I'm Jonas. I'm a senior consultant at TNG. And there I've been working on all sorts of AI things that we're going to show today for the last 6.5 years. Isn't that right?
Yeah. And now?
All right, let's get going.
Yeah,
Thomas.
Let's keep going. So we start with our first video about.
Yeah, this is something we did in 2021 with German television with Harald Lesch, which is a famous science guy in Germany. And back then we did a show on deepfakes. Let's have a look.
Guten Abend zusammen. Willkommen bei Lesch Kosmos. Unser Thema heute Deepfakes, eine Technologie, mit der man praktisch jeden alles sagen lassen kann, und zwar in Echtzeit.
Das klappt ja wunderbar. Da kann ja, mit dieser Technik kann ja jeder eine Wissenschaftssendung moderieren, sogar du.
Ich und eine Wissenschaftssendung? Was für eine absurde Idee. Aber wenn meine Stimme da nicht wäre, dann könnte man mich wirklich für dich halten. Und überleg mal, wenn man das woanders einsetzt, dann kann man damit ja eine völlig neue Dimension von Fake News schaffen.
Und das macht mir echt Sorgen. Die Möglichkeiten zu manipulieren sind damit ja schier unendlich.
Ja.
That was my failure, but
All right.
deepfakes, why do we do that?
Back in the days, yeah, this was 2021. In 2022, there was a deepfake of Volodymyr Zelensky, who was asking the Russian troops to lay down their arms and surrender to the Russian army. So this is a real problem in this world that we have right now. So we have these real-time deepfakes, and we keep it like Carl Bergstrom from the University of Washington, who once said that when a new technology like this comes along, the most dangerous period in time is when it is out there, but the public is not aware of it, because then it can be used most efficiently. And that's why we want to talk about this technology today. And Martin, why is it so important this year?
Yeah, whenever it comes to AI, you always have such discussions where warnings are issued, how dangerous it is, and so the question is it really that dangerous? We want to discuss that today. So it was, it already happened, that AI was used to somehow influence people, so to say. 87 million of user data sets have been harvested, to create personal profiles, to find the right people which are easily convincible to vote for a specific person. Yeah. This was the Cambridge Analytica scandal. So this year, half of the world's population has elections. This is why I said it couldn't be more relevant, because, yesterday we learned about the results of the US elections, and just yesterday also the German government, how to say?
Was dismantled, something like that.
Dismantled themselves somehow. Yeah, when it comes to false stories, there are studies existing, like one from Minerva. Did you know that false stories have a six time faster spreading time to reach 1,500 people than true stories? Yeah. So the question we ask ourselves, and are we doomed in a world dominated by fake news? Yeah.
That's actually a very good question, and it would be easy to think so, because today we have Gen AI and we can basically do and make and produce anything that we want. For example, if we wanted an oil painting of Angela Merkel, we can just have that. We can have that generated by Midjourney or other text-to-image neural networks. Then we can also, for example, generate this.
Yeah, this one.
What is this one, Martin?
Yeah, Barack Obama winning a dance battle against the super hip-hop moody black hip-hop club mosh pit with colorized lighting 1920
Wow, what a mouthful. That's what happens when you let Martin choose the prompts. OK, we have one more for you. So who can tell me what this is? So we are not decided yet. It could be the EU coming up with the AI Act, or it could be the Republicans coming up with their presidential candidate. We are not sure, right? But yeah, you can see we can generate a lot of things. It's not only images, and that's kind of what we want to talk about today. So what are we going to do? We are going to jump into real-time deepfakes first. Then we are going to have a look at social media bots, so text. And then we are going to close off with audio deepfakes and look at fake detections before coming to a conclusion. All right. Real-time deepfakes, Thomas.
Yeah, let's have a look at the real-time deepfakes again. So this is, again, an excerpt from the show that you just saw. So we have two Harald Lesches here. One is the real one, and one is a deepfake. The one that you see in full frontal view, this is a real deepfake. It is Dirk Steffens in this case, and this person was the facial expressions of Dirk Steffens were then translated to Harald Lesch's face, and then this new face was put on top of Dirk Steffens' head. So this is what a deepfake is about, and we want to have a look at how to create such a real-time deepfake now. Because there are multiple steps involved, and we need to tackle a few of them. Let's have a look. So first of all, of course, we need to grab the camera frame. This is the easiest step. The second one will be, we will have a face detection. So we need to figure out where in the image the face is located that we really want to deepfake. For this, we are using a library called MediaPipe, and this MediaPipe library basically detects 468 points in the face of Martin right now. And what you can see here is we specify where the eyes are located, where the mouth is located, and so on, and we match this face mesh on top of Martin's head. And once we have that, so now we exactly know where the face is located, we can then do the second step, which is the so-called face segmentation. So what we now do is we try to find each pixel that belongs to Martin's head, and here you can see a still of that.
Oh, wow.
And beautiful
So much
Martin.
about the risky live demos, eh?
Yeah, this is the live demo we won't show today. But nevertheless, you can see that Martin looks a little bit more bluish than he would normally, because all of his head is now segmented, so each pixel that belongs to his head is now in blue. And this is the step we need to take before we can now finally eradicate Martin's face. I always wanted to do that, so now I'm finally able to do that. And you can now just get rid of the old head. And the problem we are facing with that is we need to fill the void somehow. So we just take the surrounding pixels a little bit. So now you can see if Martin puts his fingers here, you will see that they will somehow get sucked into the area where his face was located. So the illusion is not perfect, right? But it does not have to be perfect. We just need to fill in some gaps so that the old face doesn't shine through when we put on a new face. And this is also where it gets interesting, because back in the days, back in 2021, we really thought we need someone to replace Harald Lesch's face. So we take someone with the same head shape and the same hairstyle, maybe. And we thought, OK, let's take a politician. Let's take Putin. Good idea. Really good idea.
Aged like fine milk.
Yeah, exactly. 1 year later, we thought, OK, maybe not the best idea. So nowadays, we would rather take maybe the future Prime Minister of the UK. Anything goes, right? So we have Trump in the US, so this one would be more competent, probably. All right. So, and now let's have a look at how this deepfake works. So what we have at the core of each deepfake is a so-called autoencoder. So an autoencoder basically takes one image, then puts that through a neural network, and then the same image is reproduced, but using a few steps. There are two neural networks, or two parts of the neural network that are involved. One is an encoder. The encoder basically takes the image, puts that in a compressed version, the so-called latent space representation, and there we can find features like maybe Is the person smiling? Is the mouth open? Are the eyes open? Things like that. And then you take this compressed version and then try to recreate the image from that using the decoder. And of course, at the beginning, we will have nothing, so we need to train it a little bit. But once it is trained, we can then reconstruct the image.
Wow.
Isn't that amazing, Martin?
Yes, it's amazing. So you put in a picture of Harald Lesch,
Yeah.
and then it puts out, hopefully, a reconstructed version. So the same picture, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's amazingly boring.
It takes some electricity.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, the thing is, this is pretty boring, but if you have two of these autoencoders, so one for Harald Lesch and one for Dirk Steffens, then you can do the following. You can just take the image of Harald Lesch, put it into our latent space representation, and then take the wrong path. So we take the decoder for Dirk Steffens, and with that we get the facial expression of Harald Lesch, but with the face of Dirk Steffens. And this is how a deepfake is created.
And you know what? We have again a demo on that.
Perfect, perfect. So here you can see Harald Lesch now. And Harald Lesch is a bit more, yeah.
Looks a bit edgy, if you ask me.
He's quite happy, I think.
Okay, let's try a couple other faces, Martin. We've brought a couple ones, right?
You have to tell me who I am, because I just
you're
don't
a very
know.
handsome young man who is very successful at this IT company.
Ah, okay.
So his name is Jonas.
Maybe it's not Thomas, it's you, or
No, it's me.
vice
yeah.
versa, I don't know.
Yeah. All right, let's see who else we have. Okay, this is fantastic. Now we have Thomas.
Yeah.
And this is actually perfect if you want to do any kind of CEO fraud, right? Because now you have a live stream of Thomas Endres, CEO of TNG Technology Consulting. You could just jump into a video call.
Now
right?
let me put out the tongue.
Doesn't work.
Did it work?
No.
But why, Thomas?
I think we need to skip that because we need to be quick.
Ah,
so,
okay.
But why would we do such a thing like CEO fraud or something like that?
Yeah, actually, what Thomas and Jonas already told you, yeah, it really happened. So a Hong Kong-based company just had a $25 million loss because someone was fooled within a video conference call with approximately 12 real-time deepfakes. Can you imagine that? We also fooled people within a video conference talk.
Yeah, but just for fun.
But just for fun, and thankfully we had another German television company with us. It was ProSieben and their magazine Galileo. So let's have a look to this. So here you can see Harro Füllgrabe, the man with hair, and the bald man, this is Matthias Fiedler. And now let's have a look to the setup. So here you can see the man with hair in front of a DSLR camera, and he appears within the video conference as the bald man. And the idea right now was to call the best friend of the bald man and ask him to receive a file and do things and stuff like that. Let's have a look.
Oh, Richard! Du glaubst gar nicht, was hier alles los ist. Die Leitung stimmt nicht, dann geht das in die Hose und das geht in die Hose und das klappt nicht.
Die erste Hürde ist geschafft. Der Chatpartner schöpft keinen Verdacht. Dann gehen wir einen Schritt weiter. Harro alias Matthias schickt ihm eine Datei.
Yeah, so the question is, he sent a file to the best friend of the bald man. Yeah. So the question is, did he open the file? Hands up who thinks he's opening the file.
Okay, that's a lot of hands.
Okay, nearly everybody. I can assure you, yes, he opened the file, and furthermore, he also transferred money afterwards.
Okay.
And as you can see, this is it's a cybersecurity, it's an attack vector which is existing. And it doesn't just affect computer scientists and IT people, yeah? It goes further.
So let's have a look at how you could detect such a deepfake then. So this is the studio condition video that we took back in the day, so you haven't seen enough Putin today, so let's have a closer look at him again. And zoom in a little bit. So here you can see how you could spot a deepfake today. So one thing is that skin is missing a little bit of detail, right? Then there are some unusual distortions somewhere around the edges, maybe. You have a lack of emotions because the material that we got from Putin also had a lack of emotion as well. And then we can also have a look at everything unnatural. So the eyes, maybe the teeth look a little bit unnatural, the hair, and so on, and so on, and so on. With this, you could spot a deepfake, but then again, this is just a current limitation of deepfakes that we have. So it is not necessarily like this in the future. So the next generation of deepfakes could be even more convincing. So please be aware of that.
So this brings us now to social media bots, so generating text instead of real-time deepfakes. And you might be surprised, but in 2023, there was a study from Imperva, and they found out that 47% of generated internet traffic is generated by bots. So we are talking about text, comments, stuff like that. And there are other studies telling us it's more than 70% with a increasing trend.
Yeah, so let's talk about social media bots, right?
What is this all about?
Yeah, exactly. Who better to talk about this than us, because we've built one in the past. And why did we build one? You've probably been on the internet before, and you know there's a flood of social media comments to basically anything. We do a lot of showcases, right? And every single time we do that, somebody comments on that, and some of them are nice, some of them are not so nice, some of them are actual shit posts. And then our typical reaction is we have to get our opinion out there as well. We have to fire back. And then over the years, we kind of notice, well, now we're spending more and more time arguing with random people on the internet instead of building cool showcases. So we came up with the following idea. This is the shitposting AI that you can see right here. So why not automate all of the online discussion away? Why not build a floating AI natural language processing brain thingy that can write a shitpost and then also reply to it by itself, and then reply to that again, and reply, and have a discussion with itself in all of eternity, so that the typical TNG consultant that you can see here on the left doesn't have to spend his time arguing on the internet and can work instead, and even the shitposter can now do something useful with their time. So what is our shitposting AI? Well, at the core, we used OpenAI's GPT models. So that's the generative pre-trained transformer. And if you look into it, this model is actually really perfect for what we're intending to do. So it's a generative model, so it can generate text, generate comments if we want to, and it's pre-trained on a large portion of the internet. So it already knows some internet facts, and it already knows how to speak the English language. So all that we have to do is basically just fine-tune it to only generate shitposts. So the biggest question for us back then was, which GPT version do we want to have? And when we started, we had two options. We had GPT-2 and the bigger brother GPT-3. You will probably know by today's standards we have even bigger brothers like GPT-4, GPT-4o, and so on. And those are very, very powerful, but at the same time also very, very politically correct, which is exactly not what we want. We want to create shitposts, right? So we decided to go for GPT-2, the smaller brother that's not politically correct and that's small enough to run on a local machine, and it can also be trained on a local machine. But speaking of training, we need a shitposting data set to do that. Yeah. And luckily, there's some readily available open source shitposting data sets out there. Yes. Some people might call them social media. And now we have a question to you. So which of those platforms would you choose to create a shitposting data set?
Twitter, okay.
What else?
It's amazing.
It's funny.
100% of at all conferences they say.
Everybody knows that.
Twitter,
every single
Reddit,
time.
That's it.
That's actually what we chose. So
we
scraped a couple of 100,000 comments and threads from Twitter and Reddit.
Yeah. So we can name a few. So we took politics, change my view, unpopular opinion, shower thoughts, and the most controversial one was probably mechanical keyboards.
Yeah, of course it was. So we did that. We trained our first version of the shitposting GPT. We talked about it for the first time on public, and then a couple of weeks after, both Twitter and Reddit shut down their public API, so we couldn't scrape anymore. We, to this day, still wonder why. But we have our shitposting GPT. It's kind of stuck in the past, But we can now show this to you. So we have another little demo here, and what we can do now is we can seed a conversation with a very controversial statement, COVID is a thing, and it's going to come up with a comment response to that. And you can see it's literally a Twitter comment. It even had like a fake Twitter link in there that it just hallucinated. And we are going to get a counter argument, and it's going to go about masks and kids and death and all of those horrible things that were talked about back then. We are going to have both sides of the conversation even. So the shitposting AI is going to fight itself in the conversation. It's going to have all the bad manners, all the bad takes, all the bad spelling in there, and as I said, the fake Twitter links. So now we can just watch this basically forever and don't have to engage in internet discussion anymore. Yeah. Isn't that great, Martin?
This is really, really great. So let's go back. So we discussed that false news have a spreading time which is 6 times faster than for true stories. This was a study from the MIT, by the way. And they also found out it's humans' preference for novelty to drive the speed of false news. And it's not just bots. Yeah? And this brings us now, after we spoke about text generation, this brings us to audio deepfakes.
Yeah, let's have a little experiment here.
We want to have an experiment with you. And so we created some deepfakes, or maybe not, audio
this
deepfakes.
Is an audio fake, and we will play it to you, and you need to decide whether it's fake or not. So
okay, so
pay attention.
Let's start with this sentence.
Positive thinking can be contagious.
Positive thinking can be contagious.
So who
Question
is this?
into the round, who is that? Schwarzenegger. Perfect.
Positive thinking can be contagious.
So hands up, who thinks this is artificially generated? Hands up, who thinks this is AI generated? Oh wow, a lot
That's
of people.
a lot.
Oh, okay.
So
awesome.
Maybe half of the
audience.
forum.
Let's uncover that. Actually, it's fake. Now let's have another experiment here.
The more you temper a sword, the stronger it becomes.
Let's listen again.
The more you temper a sword, the stronger it becomes.
What do you think?
So, is this artificially generated? Hands up. Oh, still roughly half of the audience still.
The more you temper a sword, the stronger it becomes. The more you temper a sword, the stronger it becomes.
Yeah, definitely a deepfake.
As you can see, Arnold is having his sword in his hands. Whatever reason, I don't know. And this is not a deepfake, by the way. So now let's discuss fake detection.
Yeah, because we've seen real-time deepfakes, we've seen social media bots, audio deepfakes, and we've seen that these things become better and better, and you don't really know what's real anymore. So it would be nice to have like a deepfake detector where you can just put in a video like this, because you've seen this on the internet. You have the real Thomas Endres who's trying to sell you something. He's wearing a lab coat, he's in a nice studio, and he even has the Thomas Endres signature double ear. But you've heard the talk about the AI election, and you think like, okay, even if it looks like 100% real, like you can see here, obviously, it might still be a fake, because you can't tell. So you want to put this into like a deepfake detector, and that's exactly what we did, right?
Yeah. There is a software existing, which is publicly available. And so here we have one of the good performing softwares, I would say. And we put in this picture, this snapshot, and with 0% suspicious rate, this was one of the results. But we go further. There was a software which was dimensions better, actually. This was this one, and it detected with 0.1% suspicious rate that there is something wrong with the picture. Yeah. So this doesn't help at all, Thomas, right?
Yeah, exactly. And we did the same experiments also for audio fakes, for texts, and so on, and so on, and so on. And we've experimented with like 10 to 20 different deepfake detectors, and none of them really worked when it came to either things that were unknown to the software before, or secondly, also things that were made in a very good way. So whenever there was a good deepfake, it could not detect whether it was a deepfake anymore. And this does not help, right? So you can then tell with your own eyes and your own ears whether it's fake or not. You don't need a software for that.
Yeah. But Thomas, you know what? You don't always need high tech to fool people. Let's have a look to a story which went viral. Sometimes low tech is enough. This was the story around Nancy Pelosi. Let's watch this video.
We want to give this president the opportunity to do something historic for our country.
So, Thomas, what do you think? Sounds a little bit drunk, right?
Sounds
Yeah,
like
after
you.
this election, I would be drunk as well.
So let's have a look to the verified video.
We want to give this president the opportunity to do something historic for our country.
So wait, what is happening here?
Still sounds drunk.
Yeah, no. Not at all. So what happened here? Actually, the video was altered. So it only runs with 75% of the speed compared to the original video. And of course, the voice will be lower then if you slow it down, but you can repitch the voice, and then you have the effect in this special case that Nancy Pelosi just sounds drunk. So there are other low-tech solutions.
But
if
Martin,
you say so, solutions.
You don't need any technology at all to fool people. So you can also just take a picture like this one, left one or right one, and you can see that, these stupid Extinction Rebellion campaigners, they left all their trash in Hyde Park. But actually, this is not the Hyde Park, and this is not the trash that was left there from the Extinction Rebellion campaigners. This is just a random pile of trash that was the picture was taken somewhere in the world, and the same is true from the park. This was just some random park. So you can just put information completely out of context, and you can also fool people with that, and you will still get a lot of likes with that. So you don't need any technology at all.
Yeah. Wow, this is kind of disturbing because we've seen different types of fakes. We've seen that it's getting harder and harder to detect them. We have seen that there is no technological solution to detect fakes, and we have seen that you don't even need all of these things. You can just take a picture out of context. So what can we do?
What can we do? Let's have a look. So it's not only about reading the headline, click away from the story to investigate. Are there more sources than only this one?
Also check the author. So you can check whether the author is known to spread some fake news or something like that. So click away from the story, read something beyond that. So with that, you can find out whether a story is really true or not.
Yeah, and as I said, headlines can be outrageous to get clicks. Yeah, it's a currency, getting clicks. So read beyond, not just the headline. Check the date. Sometimes articles get reissued, but they are very old and they don't necessarily match to the current event, to the current situation. Yeah? Sometimes it could be also a joke. If it sounds too outlandish, maybe it's satire.
Yeah.
Right.
Or what you should also do is check your own biases. So if you think that a story is true, you will probably not check as much as you would do if you think the story is false. And with that, we leave you with another thing that you should mention.
Yeah, this is very important to say, because nowadays you get flooded with information, with pictures and everything. But today's attention span is just about a few seconds when you use Instagram, TikTok, and stuff like that. And this is the most important thing. Take your time, but yeah, you know, not everybody is doing this.
Okay,
and
we have not
speaking about AI, we have a dual-use dilemma.
Yeah, we have a dual-use dilemma in AI. So, I mean, AI is a powerful tool. It is like a hammer. You can build a house with it, or you can smash somebody's head in. And today we talked a lot about head smashing. So let's also talk about like the flowery robot thing. So Martin, why don't you stand in front of the camera for me? So what we've built here is another product. This is the person anonymizer, and what it does is it uses the same technology that we use to segment faces in the deepfakes, but it anonymizes people, and we can have that running on security cameras, so we can preserve the identities of people if we have security cameras in public spaces.
Speaking about cameras, our keynote is nearly finished, and we want to ask the photographer to take a picture like the music bands do, and it would be awesome if you just help us with this. So give hands to the photographer. Woo. And we ask you right now, raise your arms and let's have a beautiful picture for social media. Woo. Thomas. Oh. Woo!
Okay.
Perfect.
You guys are amazing.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And as a small goodie we have today with us, we want to play a music video. If you leave, then the room here. But now we give over to the NL jug. So, thank you.
Thanks.